Hello, and welcome to inventory training on how to complete transfers and withdrawals in the Primero Edge website. Once you are logged into the Primero Edge website, you will see the dashboard screen displayed. To access the Inventory module, select the Inventory tab. We will see the Inventory home screen displayed. To access transfers and withdrawals, select the Transfers and Withdrawals category from the left-hand side of the screen and expand the category by clicking the drop-down. We see the different functions we have access to based off our user role permissions. To transfer items from one site to another, click the Transfer Items function. We can transfer items from our site to another site, provided that both sites can order this item. I can select the site to do the transferring from the drop-down menu. The site that is conducting the transfer would create the transfer in the system. So I selected my site. It is listed there by default. And then I can select a site to send items to. I can select the site by site code or by site name, and the sites will be listed in the drop-down menu in alphabetical order. I will select the Freedom Elementary School, and then I have a transaction date and time. The system will default the current date and current time in the system that the transaction occurred. Every transaction has its own timestamp. I can change the date by selecting the calendar pop-up and finding the date, or I can enter in the date manually in the date field, or I can enter in the time manually in the time field, or use the clock pop-up to select a specific time. They will be listed on the hour. I can enter in specific comments in the comments field. The items list will display the items that I am transferring. I have not added any items yet, so I see no items listed below. I can select items to add and narrow my search results by item category, or I can find item by item description. The items are listed in alphabetical order by item name, and I can select from the drop-down menu a specific item. Or I can use the item's Smart Search feature and find the specific item. I can enter in the item name or item code. The item's code is listed in parentheses next to each of the items. So if I wanted to add pairs, I can select pairs or find pairs and add it to my items list. I selected the item and it tells me how many items I have in my quantity on hand. That is the perpetual quantity of my item. This is what the system thinks I have. So I can transfer up to 20 whole units, and I can enter in whole and broken unit counts here. So say I wanted to transfer 5 broken units, and I can enter in any comments in the comments field. To add this item to my items list, I'll click the Add button. This is added to my items list, and I have a green message indicating the item has been added. I can edit my whole and broken unit quantities, enter in any comments, or delete the item by clicking the trash can icon. I can select more items to transfer using the Add Items functionality. Transfers is a two-step process, so I will click the Next button to move on to the next screen. This is where I confirm my transfer. I review the transfer, what I am transferring over to this Freedom Elementary site. If I needed to make changes, I could click the Edit Transfer Items button to take me back to the previous page, or click the Confirm Transfer button to confirm this transfer. Once I have confirmed the transfer, a transfer number has been indicated in the green message at the top of my screen, and that completes the transfer. The receiving site, in this case Freedom Elementary, does not have to go in and receive anything in the system. Each of these pairs out or taken out of my system at Primero Harville and are added to the perpetual quantity at Freedom Elementary. I can print a transfer ticket or have price details using these buttons. To view this transfer, I can view it in the transfers list, and I see transfers sent and received based off this given date range. I can find a specific transfer going back to a specific date, or I can find any transfers that I might have received by selecting that radio button. I see the transfer that I just completed to Freedom Elementary School, 10021, and I will select that transfer number. And from here, I can make adjustments to the transfer by clicking the Adjust Transfer button if I needed to change the counts. If you are changing the transfer, comments are required, and I can enter in my adjustments and click Update Transfer. Cancel will cancel out of this adjustment. The Cancel Transfer button will allow me to cancel out of the transfer altogether. Like with adjustments, I must enter in comments in the required field to indicate why I am canceling out of this transfer. Once I cancel, it will revert my perpetual quantities back to what they were before I completed this transfer. I can also print a transfer ticket or show price details. That's how you complete transfers in the Primero Edge website. Next up, we will look at withdrawals. To withdraw items out of my perpetual inventory, click the Withdraw Items button. This will bring up a Withdraw Items screen. We can select our site from the drop-down menu and change our transaction date and time like we saw with transfers. We can also enter in specific comments, but they are not required here. They are only required if you are making changes. We can select a reason for this transfer. We have the reasons that are configured in my website. These are configured in your inventory configuration, so I only show 2 reasons, but you may see more. I'm going to select spoilage, and then you can select a withdraw template. I do not have any items on a withdraw template yet, but I will create a withdraw using a withdraw template later on. I'm going to click Get Items, and we will create a withdraw without using a template. We see in our items list nothing is listed yet, so we must add items using the Add Items functionality like we did with transfers. We can select an item category to narrow our search results down, and I can select from the menu. I then see how many I have in quantity, what I can withdraw. I'm going to withdraw 10 cases of these French fries. I will add this item to my items list, and I can add comments if I need to by using that blue speech bubble and enter in comments. And I see a note with the comments next to it. I also can delete that item using the trash can icon. We can move on to the next screen as withdrawals is also a 2-step process, so we will click the Next button to move on to the next screen. This is where we confirm our withdrawal. If we needed to make changes, we can click the Edit Withdraw Quantity button to take us back to the previous screen. To confirm this withdrawal, we will click the Confirm Withdraw button, and it creates a new withdrawal number, and we see that withdrawal number in the green message at the top of our screen. We can print a withdrawal note, as well as any price details. To view this withdrawal, we can go to the Withdrawals List function, and this will display all the withdrawals that have occurred based off the given date range. You can use the calendar icons to change the date in the date range. And click Apply. And I see these 3 withdrawals with their IDs associated with it. The withdrawal that I just completed, withdrawal number 78, is displayed. So I will click on that withdrawal ID to access this withdrawal. Just like with transfers, I can also adjust a withdrawal and cancel a withdrawal. Adjusting either of those will require comments. If I click Adjust Withdraw, I must enter in comments, and I can change the reason, and I can change the whole and broken unit quantities. And then I would click the Update Withdraw as long as I have entered in my comments. We'll cancel out of this to cancel out of my adjustment, and the Cancel Withdraw button will allow me to cancel out of withdraw, but I must enter in comments. This will revert my counts to what they were prior to withdrawing the items. Now I will make a withdrawal using a standard withdrawal template. To create a template, I'm going to go to the standard withdrawal function. This is where I can manage my standard withdrawal lists. I'd select my site from the drop-down menu if you have access to multiple sites, and then you can select a template from the Templates menu. These are the templates that have already been made in inventory configuration, so I see these 4 templates are available. I'm going to create a milk template, so I will select the Milk Template button and click Apply. I see there are no items on this template yet, so to add items, I click the Modify Standard Items button, and I can add items. I see all of the items listed that are orderable from this site, broken out by different storage categories: cooler, dry, and freezer goods. I'm going to go to my cooler section to find my milks, and I have 3 milks listed: chocolate, strawberry, and white, and I want to add these to my template. Once I have added all of the items, I click the Update Standard Withdrawal Items button, and that adds those 3 items to my standard withdrawals list. I can remove those items by clicking the trash can icon, or I can add new items by clicking the Modify Standard Items button. Now I'm going to create a withdrawal using this standard withdrawal template. To create the withdrawal, I will click the Withdraw Items function. Again, we can select our transaction date and time, and enter in any comments if needed, and select a reason. I'm going to use usage this time. And then I will select milk from my standard withdrawal templates and click Get Items. Now, instead of having to manually add items using the Add Items functionality, the 3 milk items are displayed under my items list automatically. I see that I have 15 cases of each, and I can enter in my whole and broken unit quantities to withdraw. So I'm going to withdraw 10 cartons of each in my broken units. I can enter in any comments using the speech bubble and delete any of those items from this list by clicking the Delete button. Since withdrawals is a 2-step process, I will click the Next button to continue, and then click the Confirm Withdrawal button to complete the withdrawal. Now a new withdrawal number has been successfully saved in my system, and I can see that withdrawal in the withdrawals list, and I see 79 now added. Next up, we will process returns for credit. You can process returns for credit if the items you received from the vendor are damaged and unusable. You can then get credit back from that vendor when you return those items. We can create those returns in our system and withdraw those out of our inventory. To create one, we go to the Return for Credit function. This will allow us to find a receipt to make a return for. We can search our receipt by site, by vendor, by dates from and to, or by searching a specific item or item description. We can also find a receipt by receipt number or order number. By default, I see I have the receipt listed here, and I'm going to process a return for this order that I received for some of the items. I will click the hyperlink receipt number to access this receipt. I have a receipt number, and I can create a return invoice number and enter in any comments. This tells me this was associated with order number 10020. I see in the received quantity what I received, and the item descriptions tell me what I received in each of those items. To return specific items, enter in the quantities in the whole and broken units fields and click the Confirm checkbox associated with that item. So if I needed to return flour tortillas and return 3 broken units of those as those were damaged, I'm going to select that item, enter in my quantities, and click the Confirm checkbox. Then I will click the Confirm Return button to confirm this return. I get a pop-up on my screen asking, do you want to confirm the returns for this receipt? And I will click OK to continue. Now I have a return number created successfully in my system, and I can access this return through my returns list. I see the returns from a given date range. I can change the date range in the From and To Date fields, or find a specific return based off the vendors listed. Or I can search by invoice number. I see the return that I just created, return number 80. I can click on that return and view that return. There is a transaction associated with it, so if I select that 80, I can open up the return details. And here I can adjust a return or cancel a return like I did with transfers and withdrawals. When you adjust a return, you must make the adjustments in the system. It will only allow you the items that you have returned. It will not allow you to add any other items from that receipt. When you enter in comments, you must enter in comments, and if you have any changes to make in whole and broken units, and click the Update Return button. Or you can cancel this update. You can also cancel a return, and you must enter in comments. Then it will revert that item back into your perpetual inventory, and it negates the return. I will cancel out of this screen and close out of this screen by clicking the red X. This completes the transfers and withdrawals training in the Primero Edge website.